Hello, a very good evening to you, and I'm very happy to be back sharing with you lessons from Genesis 25 to 27. Let's go. I think we're picking up from when Moses was on the mountain with the Lord, and for the 40 days that he was there, he was receiving instructions from God. God called for the Israelites to bring sacred offerings as contributions for the building of his holy sanctuary, where he'll dwell among them. Now I understand why and how they got the treasures from Egypt. So remember when they were leaving and they basically looted the Egyptians. I wondered what they needed all that treasure for if they were going into the wilderness. Obviously, I knew that, they'll get to the promised land and probably need it, but here we see God actually made provision for the building of the sanctuary with those things. God then gave Moses instructions on building the Ark of the Covenant, which was made to carry the stone tablets inscribed with the terms of the covenant. It was to be placed where God would meet with Moses. Moses also received instructions for the table, lampstand, and tabernacle. All the articles required by God were all meant to be made of pure gold or acacia wood overlaid by hammered gold. Now, something else that came through to me, and I'm sure to you, was just how very precise the Lord was in the things that needed to be used, and it was all like precious stuff. Acacia, I think, is the best kind of wood. Gold is the best kind of metal, and all the gemstones and everything. The tabernacle was made from 10 curtains of finely woven linen. There was such specificity in the measurements and dimensions, as well as the fabric, thread, and clasps. Sorry, I still can't read my own handwriting. The tabernacle contained a special curtain behind which the Ark of the Covenant would stay. It was to separate the most holy place, where the ark was, from the holy place. The table and the lampstand were also in the tabernacle. The plans for the altar of burnt offering was a little different. It was to be laid with bronze and not gold, as were all the articles associated with it. The Lord ordered that the light for the tabernacle must be kept burning always, and Aaron and his sons had the responsibility for that. Now, I hope you didn't get like too bored or just skim through some things. Like, I guess I've been tempted to every time I read these chapters, but as we read along, we'll see that all these things have significance, to what God is doing and what he has done and what he will do. Anyway, let's get to my hashtag getting to know God lesson. I believe God took Moses up to heaven in those 40 days and 40 nights and showed him the blueprint or the picture of his throne room. And that was what instructed the replication of the temple for the children of Israel, so that God could have a dwelling place amongst them. Now, this is my own opinion because I've heard how Bible scholars have studied and seen how the building of the temple and the tabernacle is in the shape of a cross, which obviously we know is associated with Jesus's life and death and the sacrifice. But then also, I've also heard how the throne room, the design of the temple here was a replication of God's dwelling place in heaven, so that he could dwell here on earth with man in a similar sort of environment. Now, I probably will do more research on this, but I just thought to share. God is a God of detail. The metals used got more precious the closer you got to the most holy place where God would dwell. So the Holy of Holies was the most holy place which was there. But then you saw how the metals went from bronze to gold, hammered gold to pure gold. So it got more precious as it moved along. Some believe that the whole setup is a replica of or representation of the Garden of Eden, where God dwelled with Adam and Eve. Now, I don't know that for sure, but we all have different beliefs. But all I know is that God is very intentional in what he's doing. But what came across to me most as a personal takeaway was how God was very specific with the instructions, and Moses made sure that he paid attention to make sure that he gave the exact same specifications to the people who would build the temple. So for me, it showed the importance of like really hearing from God and obeying everything to the T. And I really just pray for that grace to be able to do so. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you've learned something useful, and hopefully you'll do some research too and probably share something with me. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, where we will be sharing lessons from Exodus 28 to 29, and that will be all about the priest. See you then. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.